Alright guys, so I have to share with you the grandest thing that I've seen in a while as it relates to Frederick County. This is such a Frederick County move, guys. Literally what I'm about to tell you, this could only be the case here in Frederick County, Maryland. So I read the Frederick News Post this morning and they just put out a story about the fact that Frederick County is and moaning about the fact that they are in court having to defend themselves against having to pay attorney's fees as it relates to a Maryland Public Information Act request that they received in October 21 from the Sugarloaf Alliance, which is an alliance in Frederick County to preserve the Sugarloaf Mountains. Well, in October 2021, they filed an MPIA request onto Frederick County government seeking development plans as it relates to some Amazon warehouses that were to be built in the vicinity of the area, and that was a whole big deal. Anyway, we won't get into that here and now, but in any event, Frederick County would not fully cooperate with the Maryland Public Information request. They literally blew them off and told them to take a hike. So that left the Sugarloaf Alliance with having to file a lawsuit, a Maryland Public Information lawsuit against Frederick County government in order to get these records. Frederick County could have just turned the records over like they should have, but no, the Sugarloaf Alliance had to file a lawsuit. They would not turn the records over. And when you have to file a lawsuit, you need to go to court. This was handled in Big Boy Court, the circuit court for Frederick County, and the Sugarloaf Alliance, as you would expect, had to retain an attorney to assist them with the lawsuit. A complaint had to be filed, motions had to be filed, perhaps depositions had to be taken. There's a lot of things that have to go into a lawsuit, as I'm sure you guys know. So this issue of getting Frederick County government to turn over public records to the Sugarloaf Alliance played out in the Frederick Circuit Court for literally like 2 years. And guess what the end result is after attorneys, motions, discovery, hearings? The end result is, of course, that Frederick County is violating the Maryland Public Information Act, and they are subsequently ordered to turn over 800 pages of records to the Sugarloaf Alliance. And then, finally, when the Sugarloaf Alliance does get their hands on those 800 documents that the court had ordered Frederick County to turn over, surprise, surprise, looks like Frederick County government is corrupt. Who would have known? We come to learn that Amazon actually directly had their hands in drafting data center zoning policy. We come to learn of everything that was taking place behind closed doors and in closed session meetings all started to come out to light for the first time. We even saw a planner for Frederick County have major transparency issues with the way this process was unfolding. He even wrote in an email to his colleagues that what they were doing could possibly get them brought up on charges of secrecy, dishonesty, and deception. So now we have this big situation where the public now knows that Amazon is working in the back room with Frederick County government. Nobody knows anything up until the point where these records get released by force in 2023 with a court order. So, after all this time, with all this egg on Frederick County's face, now that they look completely corrupt, what is the next move for Frederick County? Well, you can guess it. They want to refuse to pay the attorney's fees as it relates to the lawsuit that the Sugarloaf Alliance had to bring against them in order to get these records. You know, it wasn't good enough for Frederick County just to look dirty and dishonest behind closed doors working with Amazon and then further covering up those interactions with Amazon by way of fighting a legitimate Maryland Public Information Act all the way up until the point where they get sued and have to release them by court order. No, that's not good enough. They need to take it to the level of now we even need to fight their attorney's fees as it relates to the lawsuit that they had to bring against them because they wouldn't disclose public records. I mean, this issue just blows my mind. So you had $49,000 that the Sugarloaf Alliance had to spend in order to fight Frederick County, in order to get their hands on these records that Frederick County knew was going to make them look dirty and dishonest, but yet that's still not good enough for Frederick County. They want to walk into the circuit court and put their arms up in the air and wave and complain about how it's unfair that they have to pay the $49,000 and why they shouldn't be responsible for that. Rule number one, in the MPIA guidelines, it says that if a litigant has to sue you in order to obtain these records and they win that lawsuit, which Sugarloaf Alliance did, then they have the option and they have the right to go back and be awarded attorney's fees if it is found that they were in good standing to file that MPI request and that the respondent was negligent in not answering that MPI request. It is clear to me, and it's clear to everyone else, Frederick County knew what was going to be on those records, and that was the sole reason they didn't want to turn them over. They had no legitimate reason to deny the Sugarloaf Alliance that 800-page document, but they did so because they knew if it came out, it would make them look corrupt as f***. It did make them look corrupt as f***, and now they want to further complain about it. So the next step in this case is that the judge who heard the case is going to issue a written order with his decision. He's already heard arguments from both sides, and all I can tell you guys is keep your fingers crossed and keep it in your prayers that Frederick County gets the sanctioned out of them for the bull that they pulled in trying to conceal those fucking records. It's outrageous. I'm furious about it, and you guys should be too. If all Frederick County has to pay is $49,000 to the Sugarloaf Alliance, if that's it, they need to count their losses and move on. And with that, I have no further comment on this situation. Let's hope the judge does the right thing and sends Frederick County a clear message the next time they want to pull this crap. Levi Trumbull in Frederick.